Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here tonight. I am Kshitij.
And I'm Vani. And on behalf of our family, welcome to the launch of the sales algorithm. Tonight is a very special evening for us because we are celebrating not just a book, but decades of learning, experiences, friendships, and stories that have now found their way into these pages. As we go through the evening, we'll also be sharing a few personal stories from our side. Some of them Appa knows about, and some of them he might not have known that we have noticed, and some of them might result in a family discussion later.
That's always a risk when family members are given a microphone, right?
Especially this family.
Anyway, most of you know the author as JK. To us, he's Appa. And while many people know him as a sales leader, entrepreneur, and now author, we've had the privilege of seeing him in his natural habitat for many years. One thing that always stood out to me was how deeply he is invested in his own relationships. I remember when he was working with a German company years ago, even as a child, I noticed that he became not just like lifelong friends, colleagues became lifelong friends, customers became family friends, and business relationships somehow became lifelong relationships. In fact, one of those relationships led me to one of the highlights of my childhood when I went to Disneyland with his boss's German daughter.
Wait, your boss's daughter?
Yeah,
I mean,
Disneyland.
I feel like we need a separate conversation after tonight because this is the first time I'm hearing the story.
But I was only 21 years old at that time.
Oh, so by your childhood, you mean adulthood?
But no, details are not important. The point is like opportunities like that happened because Appa cares about people. He never approached relationships transactionally. And that's one of the biggest themes you'll find in this book.
And I got to witness a completely different side of the journey of this book last year. So Amma and Appa came and stayed with us in Bangalore for about like 2 months. And every morning, without fail, I would hear Himesh Reshamia blasting from a Bluetooth speaker. And that was my signal that Appa has entered his writing zone.
But
Now,
isn't that
most people use white noise, some people use brown noise, some people use focus music, some people use rain sounds, and Appa uses Himesh Reshamia.
which as far as I know is a category. Sorry? Ah. It's a, as far as I know, it's a category which is, or category of noise, which is not recognized by science yet.
But somehow it worked. The music would start, then his laptop would open, and for the next few hours, he would disappear into writing. And every time I walked past him, he was just completely immersed. And what impressed me was that he wasn't just writing a book, it was just the consistency. Like every single day, no excuses, no waiting for inspiration, just showing up and doing the work. And honestly, after watching his discipline for 2 months, I understood that why this book eventually became a reality.
And with that, let's officially begin tonight's celebrations. Okay, so to open the evening, I would like to invite our chief guest to the stage. Dr. Anand Deshpande is the founder and chairman of Persistent Systems. From founding the company in 1990 to building it to one of India's most respected technology companies, he has inspired generations of entrepreneurs. Through Persistent, Day Asra, and Second Orbit, he has helped countless founders build and scale their businesses. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Anand Deshpande.
We would also like to invite the author of the evening, JK and Amma, to join Dr. Anand on stage for the lighting of the diya. A warm round of applause, please.
ಗಜವದನ ಬೇಡುವೆ ಗಜವದನ ಬೇಡುವೆ ಗೌರಿ ತನಯ ಗಜವದನ ಬೇಡುವೆ ಗೌರಿ ತನಯ ತ್ರಿಜಗವಂದಿತನೆ ಸುಜನರ ಪೊರೆವನೆ ಗಜವದನ ಬೇಡುವೆ ಗೌರಿ ತನಯ त्रिजगवन्दितने सुजनर पोरे बने गजवदन बेडुवे गौरी तनया.
Then it becomes notes, then drafts, then rewrites, then countless edits, and finally one day it becomes something that people can hold in their hands. Dr. Deshpande, we would be honored if you could unveil the sales algorithm and cut the ribbon.
मोददिन्नया पादवतोरे साधुवन्दितये आदरदिन्दलि. मोददिन्नया पादवतोरो साधुवन्दितये आदरदिन्दलि. मोददिन्नया पादवतोरो साधुवन्दितये आदरदिन्दलि. सरसी जनाभ श्री पुरंदर विठ्ठलना. सरसी जनाभ श्री पुरंदर विठ्ठलना. सरसी जनाभ श्री.
So now the book is officially out in the world, and we'd love to hear from the person who wrote it. Appa, the stage is yours. Please read an excerpt from the sales algorithm for us.
Hello. Okay. So first, the first part of the speech is basically on why I wrote this book and for which audience. So I'm just going to read one chapter on who's the audience here, so for whom I've written this book. So I call it the middle management plateau. Let's investigate why these middle managers are stagnating. Their performance in sales is not peaking and they are not able to get to the next level. With all their existing skills and techniques, they have reached a plateau, and to up their game, they need to reinvent their whole approach. Although they are achieving a major percentage of their target, they are aware that they have the potential to do, and therefore they feel stuck and demotivated. Second reason, they are salespeople with a consistent track record. However, all along they have been selling competitive products and have never had the exposure to selling niche products. This has restricted their growth. They want to up their game and are seeking the right opportunities as well as ways to upskill. Third reason, many level managers lack the confidence to approach senior levels in the customer organization simply because they have never done that before. They have been approaching the product user community all along and have built their sales on this approach, selling on the merit of the product's usability and features. This could also be a reason why they are unable to grow in their own organization. Fourth reason, if they are in a prescriptive mode of selling when they are only reacting to customers' requirements, then there is nothing very challenging for them in this role. Moreover, years of being in this mode of sales could make them complacent and not ready for any change. This goes on until a time may come when they start feeling trapped and stagnant. And finally, with sales being a key function in any organization, salespeople are easily visible within the organization. So, while great performances can bring them laurels and promotions, equally, mediocre performances will make them feel demotivated. As they say, a salesperson is as good as the last quarter's performance. This can drive them to stagnation. Sorry, I missed one more point. In the career of a sales manager, there may be times when they are on top of the game, and there may be times when they don't win all the deals. Sometimes setting the bar too high can result in a setback in expectations, and this could be a reason for them to feel stalled. After this, I have gone and made a summary of what was in this chapter. The book addresses all about challenges and what follows. I am providing a set of techniques, approaches, and methodologies which will help you reinvent your approach, sharpen your sales skills, and make you a far better salesperson. The startup ecosystem is on an exponential growth path in our country, and there could be scores of opportunities for sales managers looking for a change. B2B startups are the right environment for sales managers to thrive and progress. This is a place where all the techniques mentioned in this book can be applied. Then I have a try it out section, which is like, it's not just theory, you kind of have these ideas, you can try it out yourself and kind of measure how you're progressing there. Then I'm talking about the budding startup founders and entrepreneurs. So there is a quote here from Guy Kawasaki: ideas are easy, implementation is hard. A startup begins with an idea to address a specific problem statement, leading to the development of a product or a solution. One of the common problems is getting too engrossed in the development of the product or solution and overlooking the sales aspect. I would like to share an experience from my past, back when I was the country head for India, working for a German software and solutions company. At that time, the company incorporated in Germany had been in operation for about 3 to 4 years. They were looking to expand into upcoming markets like India. The company was founded by two technocrats who had served in the industry for quite a long time and were aware of all the critical pain points the user community was facing. They had developed solutions and services to address and ease these pain points. They operated in a very niche market and strongly believed they didn't need a dedicated sales team, as they had the technical expertise and a well-established network. However, this perspective underwent a paradigm shift when I secured a high-value end-to-end implementation order from a new customer in India outside their existing network. This was the first time they had won a full-scale end-to-end implementation, and it underscored the significance of having a dedicated sales team to acquire new customers in new geographies. How I won the contract, I will cover in the relevant chapter on managing customer relations. At this point, I just want to highlight the key takeaway here, which is that many startups initially underestimate the importance of sales, only to realize later that having a proper sales strategy and a dedicated team to implement the strategy is the only way to scale. The influence of the first customer goes far beyond sales. These initial customers shape the journey of the startup. Several chapters of the book are dedicated to explaining how you can use the techniques described therein to scale sales. These are valuable inputs which are condensation of my 30 plus years of experience selling in the B2B space in various geographies. Wherever appropriate, I have given real life examples too. Having a promising sales team is mandatory for a startup looking to scale. Depending on where you are in your journey, you must start building effective sales strategies and look for the right people to help you with sales. In the initial days, to help you with sales, you may look for middle-level sales managers, the ones who have the hunger to grow, backed with a solid sales performance track record and looking out for the right opportunities. Once you have created the MVP, that is the minimum viable product, you will need to look for early adopters. As I mentioned later in the book, you need to target reputed customers, Fortune Global 500 companies as early adopters. These early adopters help shape the future of the startup. Many startups that I know of are successful in the initial period when they can reach customers within their network. Once they are done reaching out to all customers in their network, they pretty much hit a plateau. This is when they need to start looking at ways to scale their sales efforts and reinvent their approach. Once the product has evolved and is fit for market, your next challenge is repeat orders, customer retention. You need a good sales team to manage customer expectations, relationships, and to look for new customers. You will need sales to identify potential technology partners and channel partners, and these partners are very crucial for scaling. Section 2 of this book is dedicated to experts of my interviews with startup founders and business owners who have built and scaled their companies successfully. In this dedicated section, I have delved deep into failures of how these failures occurred, how they were navigated, and the lessons learned from these failures. It is very important to understand that failure is not a setback but an integral part of success. As they say, fail fast to succeed faster. The key lies in utilizing these learning experiences for course corrections, to refine the product or solution, and to pave the way for a long-term growth. Some of the failures may also have been pivotal moments to their struggle and changed the future course of the company. After each interview excerpt, I have summarized the key takeaways from the discussions. I'm sure this section brings valuable insights for budding startup founders and entrepreneurs. I keep saying that success stories can be found all over the place, but failures and setbacks are rarely documented. These are the real learnings, and that is what I have captured at length in that section. The other crucial step for a startup is to set measurable goals. This provides a direction for the company. It does not stop at just setting the right goals. You need to set up mechanisms for tracking progress. I have assigned a chapter for goal setting and towards the end of this book. Once the sales team is built, it is essential for you to structure your sales process. For this, you can adopt CRM systems like Zoho, Salesforce, and this will help you track your progress for each metric that you have set up. Then I have this summary, which is a kind of summing up, and then what is coming next. Yeah? Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Appa. Okay. So one of the things that comes through repeatedly in this book is that success is rarely an individual achievement. It's built through relationships, mentors, friends, customers, partners, and fellow builders. And tonight's speakers represents different chapters of Appa's journey. Our first speaker is someone who has known Appa for almost as long as anyone in the room. Sandeep Chintawar and Appa first met as students at IIT Roorkee. What began as a college friendship has now lasted decades, continents, careers, and countless life stages. Over the years, Sandeep has built and invested in multiple companies in Silicon Valley, more than 150 startups. But beyond the impressive accomplishments, what Appa values most is having a friend who's been part of the journey from the very beginning. So, before we ask Sandeep to speak, I would request Appa to join us on stage along with Sandeep to felicitate him with a bouquet and a copy of the sales algorithm.
Guest, friends and family, good evening. As you know, as Chiji said, I know JK from 40 years now. Before that, I would like to tell a few things about our chief guest, Anand. I know Anand from 1988 when we met Makaran, his cousin in Roorkee. We knew as Anand, we never met him, but one of the most intelligent and extraordinary cousin of his. And then 1990, when I started visiting Pune, I used to live with Makaran many times, and then naturally I met Anand downstairs in the same building, and also visited his office in 91. I think that time there were 4 or 5 people. Anand said 5 people. I thought 4. And I met Anand many times and really respect a lot. He, through all these 30 years of process, he went through so many different stages of the company, and I visited him many times here in US. And very grounded, extremely empathetic, and you never feel that you are inferior to him, even if we know where we stand. But respect to Anand for that. And on the JK, we know each other from 88, and I think looks like JK is quite worried about what I'm going to talk, and he should be. Actually, I had called him and to ask that what I should talk. He said, "You go ahead and talk what you want to." So I'm going to do that today. So we always had a very extremely light, and we pull our legs like anything. So even our spouses used to be so offended, saying that why you talk like that. But we always been like that. So I will not talk about more professional in the book. I will talk about what JK is. When I was on vacation in January last year, JK called me. He says, "Sandeep, I want to do book, but before book, he was very clear. He wanted to do podcast. And then from that podcast, I want to do the..." I said, "I'm not the right one." He says, "No, my son told me that you can get Sandeep uncle. So he was so mean to tell that his son wants me to be there. So is that right, Jackie?
That's wrong, completely wrong.
How is it? So thanks, Siddiq. I think you suggested him to get Sandeep uncle on the.
I'll say a completely different thing later when I come.
So I will never forget that. And when we decided, and then I came back, and then I think it was in February or March last year, we really prepared a lot. It was his first hosting podcast. It was my first to go on podcast. So we prepared a lot, and then a lot of questions, answers, and then I went to his place. We went scripted, and that was not a great. And he wanted to finish in 30 minutes. I said it is not possible. So after that first podcast, we moved to second one. Then I told JK that let it be impromptu. You just come with some questions. We'll just high level, and then that really went well. That podcast was so nice. After that, for 1 month or 2 months, JK called so many times when he was doing script that it went so well. For my sons to convince them to listen to that podcast, it took 2 months. But after that, they started forwarding to everybody. So anyway, those are the 2 podcasts we started, and then Anand agreed to come on the call, and then that was a complete different direction, right? And then you did around 8-9 podcasts. One of the last podcasts for the book was on the CRM and the technologies, and we did that. And that was, I think, quite important for the book. So on the cultural part, I like the Anand's the forward. He says that the sales is misunderstood by the entrepreneurs, which is, I think, very right words. Most of us come from engineering, technological background. We don't come from business communities. We may have some people from business communities. They can vouch that they have been raised differently than the other communities which are not in business. Especially when I came back from US, I had to spend time with different communities. I was helping one of my friends to raise funds for his VC fund. Then I realized that the people who are there to invest, all the limited partners, all they were from business communities. I was the only one who was Maharashtrian. Similarly, many places I saw that. So I think these are learnable skills, and that's what these books talk about. I attended one of the Dale Carnegie course. Dale Carnegie is one of the self-help, and most of the people we know Dale Carnegie. They have one public speaking and overall management course and one sales course. Warren Buffett has only one certificate in his office even today, that is Dale Carnegie course. One is from Columbia Business School. So I did both courses in US, and it was an eye-opener for me, even after doing a startup, that what sales is about. They have very elaborate sales training, which is called Sales Advantage, and those are expensive trainings. They always kept it expensive that they should feel value about it. Those trainings are now available in India from last 5-6 years. I don't know how good it is, but I think for all young entrepreneurs, I will highly recommend to go for those courses. So what they told is relationship, not the missale. What we have the impression, especially non-business communities, we think that sales is like cheating someone or pushing someone to buy, but we need to find what need is and whether we can give our product and services to them, and then communicating it the right way and selling it. And then there is a methodologies and methods for that. And those are so important for everybody who are coming from non-business communities. People who are coming from business communities, they have grown up with a generational knowledge and experiences. Similarly, when I dealt into non-tech in US, where Jews, 99% people are Jews there, nothing against community, but most of the people in other non-tech companies, they are even in tech companies, they are Jews, and because they are my partners in US, and they are been taught like that from generations, and we lack that in our dining table. We never talk about money, we never talk about business. I think we need to, all the entrepreneurs, especially technology entrepreneurs, need to learn what sales is about. And it is not one skill, we can learn, and this kind of books are really important. JK, thanks for that. And on the closing, I will not take much time. What I liked about JK, I was involved from the day one to the book, and then I reviewed the book. Even when Anand agreed for, then we even prepared questions that what we should ask Anand, and because it was a big event for JK. His persistence, really meticulous preparation. and get a lot of hard work. And he used to call me every 10 minutes if needed. Right? Getting everybody involved as a project, as a family, right? Your sons, your daughter-in-law, your wife, friends. I don't see Badegapar here, Atul. You got him also involved to review the book. Oh, you're here, okay. So, right, so we feel like this book is not only JK's book, it's our book. So, really nice. I have seen so many successful people, and Anand can watch for that, that there are many people who are very successful, but they think they achieved it alone, but it is not that straightforward. Just see, I will just, last one, just on one lunch, he got me here 5 times. So we can know how good he is in sales. So his 200-page book will be really valuable. And thank you, JK, for inviting and giving me opportunity for this. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sandeep. I think we all got a glimpse of how many stories from Appa's IIT days are still waiting to be told.
Yeah, and based on some of the stories that we have heard over dinner, perhaps it's best that only a few of these stories make into print. Our next speakers are 2 people who embody something that Appa deeply believes in, building for the long term. Satish and Kaustubh Deshmukh have spent nearly 2 decades building businesses together. Long before digital marketing became mainstream, Satish was helping some of India's leading brands establish an online presence. Kaustubh went on to co-found ProDigitas, a company that today serves hundreds of B2B clients across multiple geographies. Together, they've helped countless businesses grow, communicate, and scale. Before we hear from them, we'd like to request Appa to come and felicitate them with bouquet and a signed copy of The Sales Algorithm. Please welcome Satish and Kaustubh.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. It gives us immense pleasure to be here at such a great occasion. JK is a personal friend and such an inspiring person. Both me and Kaustubh, have benefited so much from being around him and learning from him. And I would take this occasion when to state that when JK first approached us for the podcast, it was our first time as well. It's not like we are inundated with invitations every day. So it was a absolute no-brainer to come on board. One thing about JK which I would like to say is that the most inspiring part about him is that he never stops learning. I mean, even with his classical music, he's at it. He's giving exams. He's learning classical music every day, and unfailingly, I've seen him, kind of just being curious and learning, every single day. So. Coming on the podcast was a great honor for both of us, and during the podcast, more than a conversation, it was an occasion for us to reflect on our journey. It was a sense of introspection, and that itself, a moment to reflect always, is something which we welcome. And from the book, when we all read the book, it's literally a gold mine of wisdom accumulated over decades. The best part, about the book obviously is Mr. Deshpande's foreword. It's one of the most brilliant forewords you could ever come across. And the if I look at the chapter 11, I would like to make a special mention of chapter 11 of the book. You could literally call it the 10 Commandments, and it's just so much wisdom condensed in those 10 Commandments that that really makes up a favorite part of the book. So thank you, JK, once again for making us a part of this. Maybe Kaustuv wants to say.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Good evening, everyone, and congratulations, JK. It's been a long journey, probably more than 1.5 years now. Yeah. So, congratulations for you and to your family. Like Kshitish said, coming on the podcast itself was a kind of a learning for us as well. First of all, I didn't know that I knew so much. So a lot of things came out, and the reason they came out were because you brought them out. You are able to bring them out. I thought, and I mentioned to you after our podcast that you are a very good host. And I think one of the keys to that was that you are actually listening very closely to whatever we are saying, because it was largely unscripted. Yeah, so correct. So leading us the way you did, and I think that is the hallmark of a great salesperson or a sales leader. I've also followed some of your reels along the way, where you talk about some of the pillars of becoming a good sales leader, being honesty, transparency, all of those things. I think in our 1.5 hours that came through. So yeah, I mean, that's something I wanted to share. And basically what I took from it, and from the book as well, is that to condense it in a very kind of a easy way to understand, is that sales is a discipline of getting people to say yes to something you have to offer, but that yes has to come very easily. And the operative part is that it is a discipline, which you've laid out very beautifully in terms of playbooks, in terms of all the steps that you need to take in order to lead to a favorable or unexpected outcome. So I think that's what this book talks about it beautifully, and I think it will be very helpful for your audience.
I will share one joke in the podcast that we had. This is really very interesting. So, we were talking about working from home, and, in past years, I also used to work from home, and like Kaustuv said, my maid asked me, "Kya saab kabhi office jate hi nahi kya?" And the other thing was, he said, "JK, I'm saying yes to this podcast because now my wife will know what I'm doing."
Yeah, and one last thing is, apart from the wisdom which is so nicely encapsulated in the book, I always feel that the sales algorithm is not just a book but a community. We have met some amazing people because of the podcast. We've kind of shared space with Dr. Anand Deshpande. We've kind of interacted with Chintawar sir, and we've already had a very meaningful interaction with Udit. So it's not just a book, it's a community, it's a movement, and I hope that the community prospers. Thank you so much.
Both. I always find it inspiring when siblings build together for so many years.
I mean, as someone,
I asked them in the podcast, don't you ever fight with each other? They said, never have fought with each other.
Exactly.
Can't believe it.
Literally.
yeah, as someone who occasionally struggles to agree with you on what to order for dinner, I find that particularly impressive.
Yeah, and for the record, my recommendations are usually correct.
I mean, the debate continues. Awesome. So our next speaker represents the next generation of entrepreneurship. Udit Agarwal started building companies while still a student at NIT Trichy. And since then, he's founded companies, built AI products, and continues to push the boundaries of what's possible. One of the things Appa says is that while technology evolves, the fundamentals of trust, relationships, and sales remain remarkably consistent. Before inviting Udit to speak, we'd like Appa to present him with a bouquet and a signed copy of the book. Udit, thank you for joining us.
Look here.
First of all, thank you so much, JK sir. It's been an honor to be part of this beautiful journey that we are all seeing come alive today. So I'll just start with how I landed up being part of this book, where I would rather put myself as a student, as a learner here, where I should be the one who should be grabbing the first copy and finishing it in one sitting. But it was all kind of very serendipitous. So I met with JK sir through his son Shashwat. So we were in the same college, and just through a simple LinkedIn connect, we got talking. And the thing I want to highlight about him is like he's been so open that after a few days of talking, I was here at Pune sitting with him and Sandeep Chintawar sir on a podcast and sharing whatever I have learned, and gaining so much back from here. So now that simple gesture tells you about, like, now at this stage of his career, JK sir has been so open. And it's not just being open. We would have a long conversation on how AI and the entire space on sales and startups are moving. And when I talk to him, the conversation is not always that okay, though he knows a lot about a lot of things, it is kind of where he's trying to tickle my brain in the right way, so that we converse in the right direction. And I think that reflects in the book, in the podcast. So I would genuinely want a lot more young entrepreneurs watch his podcast, read the books, and I hope this brings a lot of wisdom to young entrepreneurs. Because one thing he wanted me to touch upon, that how do you look at sales as the next generation entrepreneurs? Because as he said, sometimes it is a bit of a taboo or kind of overlooked thing where you don't like to talk about it. So I'll briefly share what I learned speaking with him and building my own startups. So sales, it has been always you gain the mind share and then you continue building trust, like if I have to just put in one sentence. So the core remains the same. And now with AI today, what has changed is gaining mind share is harder and harder. Now even if you have mind share, the way you build trust has considerably changed. Now you must be hearing things like building in public, forward deployed engineering, like a bunch of things where sales has been moving from where you build trust through previously maybe through a lot more persuasion, and today you build trust through partnership. So this is what I would want to share, that this is the next generation of sales that I think is completely covered in the book. So happy reading, everybody, and I hope you find many more such golden nuggets when you get a chance to go through the book. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's reassuring to know that even in the age of AI, sales still requires actual human beings.
At least for now. Let's not give ChatGPT any ideas.
Our next speaker is someone who has influenced generations of entrepreneurs and business leaders. Dr. Ashok Korwar has spent more than 4 decades teaching, mentoring, and helping founders navigate the difficult journey from building a company to scaling one. Through Second Orbit and his work with entrepreneurs across India, he has helped countless founders make the leap from ambition to execution. Before we invite Dr. Ashok to speak, we would like Appa to come and felicitate him with a bouquet and a signed copy of The Sales Algorithm.
So, unlike several people here, I have just known JK just a few months now, and we are sort of neighbors. So, couple of things that I'm going to say based on what he told me to speak about. I'm a little different from most people here because I used to be a professor at IIM Ahmedabad for 10 years, and I know. So I've been in both worlds. I've been in academics, I've been in the real world. And one thing that I discovered or realized when I was at IIM as a professor is that nobody teaches sales there. Nobody. There's not a single sales course. And when people come out of there with an MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, nobody has taught them sales. And yet people hire them for sales. Makes me wonder what people think is going on in IIM. Because, and this is something that is relevant, that sales is not something which is amenable to all concepts and models and things like that. It's a matter of doing. Karne ki baat hai, basically. And effectively, the only people who know how to do sales are people who have done it. People like JK, people like Anand. These are the people who have done sales, and they are the only people who can actually tell you what to do. Professors can't. Professors know nothing about it. So typically, when you look for a sales book, there isn't any. The only really good sales books are the ones like this. Because they are written by people who have done it. If you haven't been there and done that, you can't write a sales book. You will only write some concepts that have no meaning whatsoever. So first of all, I think books like this are very valuable because they are the only books that actually make sense. Meanwhile, sales itself is, I have said in the book, that is the most important function in the company. Because it doesn't matter how good your product is, how good your people are, how good your building is. In the end, you have to sell it to somebody, right? And if you can't do that, there is no point. So one of the things that is really overlooked or underestimated is the fact that sales is important. Now, that sounds very trivial, but it is in fact a reality. And typically, what happens is startup founders in particular, what they do is they know that sales is important because they have to sell it to somebody, and they go and sell and they do a good job. And what they don't realize is this cannot go on forever. And this is where the second orbit that Anand and I teach comes in. Because there we are not talking to people who are entrepreneurs. We are talking about people who are going to the next level, which is scaling. And then you realize that you can't do every sale yourself. An entrepreneur has only 24 hours in a day, and he has only so much bandwidth. And that is where, if you want to scale, you have to build a sales engine. And this book tells you how to do that. These are some of the things that Rengan has written, JK has written in this book, which is how to actually not think about going in how to sell, but how to build a sales engine, which is very necessary if you want to scale. And these are two things that nobody talks about, but they are very important. So that's really my contribution to, promoting this book. I think it's a great book. You should read it. Most of all, people who are, it is not something that entrepreneurs perhaps will benefit the most from, or from for people who want to scale and go to the next level can benefit from. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ashok. I feel like I've attended a master class.
The good thing about business school, unlike business school, this one was for free. And finally, we come to our chief guest. Dr. Anand Deshpande is one of India's most respected technology entrepreneurs. From founding Persistent Systems to building into a globally recognized company, he's inspired countless entrepreneurs. Before we invite Dr. Deshpande to speak, we'd like to request Appa again to present a bouquet. And actually, we did that already, right? So, yeah. But then, Dr. Deshpande, please come over. Thank you for honoring us with your presence.
So first, let me congratulate JK for writing this wonderful book, and it's an honor to be here. Again, like Ashok, JK and I met very recently, and he is a good friend of my cousin Makran. That's how we got involved, and I'm really delighted that I got this opportunity to meet you. And also, it's very delightful, as like Ashok said, there aren't that many real books on sales, so having a sales book is a very important thing, and I think this will play a big role in the future for all the entrepreneurs as you go along. So JK asked me to pick one chapter or something to say what would be very interesting for entrepreneurs. So I want to share one story about Persistent that may be relevant in this context specifically. And this story is about the importance of having a Fortune 500 or a global customer. So one of our earliest customers, I'd say number 3 customer, was Microsoft. And that's an unusual one because, we were a 10 people company, and one would think, why would anybody at Microsoft even care, right? But sometimes when you have the right opportunity and you are able to get to the right people, sometimes, there are things that come up. So the way it happened was that I had a friend who was a student with me in college at Indiana University. And she was part of a group at Microsoft, which was working on Fortran programming languages. So it was a kind of not the most important group in the Microsoft context. That said, they had a graphics library that was written in 16-bit. They want to move it to 32-bit. So it was a project nobody really wanted to do in a way, right? But for me, it was an opportunity of the lifetime because it was a small project, but it was from Microsoft. And when we got that going, we could claim that we had worked with Microsoft for many years. And that was one single change that really helped us a lot because nobody doubted our credibility after that because we had Microsoft as a customer. And that made the huge difference for us in the way we succeeded or what we did in the next many years. So the confidence that I got that we could sell to anybody was very important. So I really recommend the chapter that he has in this about selling to large companies and all of that. Now I find that while I may have lucked out and it was quite easy, at that point for me, in retrospect, it just happened. It may be very hard to get there. So I think the next chapter that he has about partnerships is kind of very interesting and important. And I think leveraging partners could be a good way to do it. Now in this context, I want to share one story that I tell everyone, which is kind of a nice way of explaining how should you look at selling as a partner. So this, I'll use a very graphic story here. Ashok is very familiar with this story, but I use it in all my slides actually. So what I tell people is that, you're familiar with the bhais, right? Buffalo. Okay. So if you're a small startup founder and you observe these buffaloes, you'll find that there are these flies all around the bhais. Okay. So you are the small fly in that bhais. And your objective is to ride the buffalo. Okay. Don't try to define where to go. You go where the buffalo goes. Okay. And if you can find that buffalo to ride, then you can go long distances because you don't have to think a whole lot. You go wherever the buffalo goes. So finding that buffalo is a very important thing for startups. And if you can find the buffalo to ride, then you will be golden for a long time. Now, if you find that the buffalo is going to some place you don't want to go to, jump from one buffalo to the other buffalo, right? But follow the buffalo. It's a better way to go about it. Because it's too much work for a small business to create your own market and all of those kinds of things, because that doesn't work. So ride the buffalo is the best strategy in this kind of context. And the last thing, in a related thing, people often say that, okay, your eventual strategy could be to eat the buffalo. But that can happen when you get to the right size. Till then, just ride the buffalo. Okay? So this is why I find getting to the large company is very important. And in many cases, if you can't sell directly to a global 500, finding that right big buffalo to ride along can be a good way to do it. And I see Sandeep is doing this now with Salesforce. For Salesforce, this is big buffalo right now. So finding that buffalo is very critical. Trying to do your own may be much harder to do. So this is one part. So this was from the past. I want to share one comment on the future now. So I've been working very closely with very small entrepreneurs. And as I look at AI and all the other technologies that are coming in, I think we are heading into a world which is going to be very different. So what is going to be different? I think we are going to enter a world where there will be no shortage of work, but a huge shortage of jobs. So the consequence of this is that everyone will have to be sort of self-employed or be a gig worker. And the context of the gig worker, the way I look at gig is to think about a film star. So the film star is actually a gig worker. He is in many films concurrently. At the same time, he's preparing on many films. And when the film is done, it's done, right? He has to go find the next film. So when films are made, they are made like gigs. So there's a gig that is going to make a new film. Everyone comes together for the film, you build the film, and then you move to the next film. So this is the reality of the future of the world. So each one of us will do many jobs concurrently and many different jobs sequentially. So it will be a collection of these kind of things. So if the world is going to see more gig workers, what should students learn so that they can be successful in the gig world, right? So this is one question that I've been thinking a lot about. And I find there are 3 skills that people need to acquire. And I'm trying to relate it to this book. So I'm not going here and there. But what are those 3 skills? So first skill is that there is work and you have to translate that to work for you. Now, skills is not a translation to jobs. You have to see what work is and then get to that. And the best example I tell people is to look at dog walkers. Today, the dog walker makes more than a fresh engineer. Okay, and it's a very different world, but they have figured out that there is a need, and they have converted that need into jobs for themselves. So they are able to do it. So anyone who can get this mindset about how to convert work to jobs will succeed in the future. Because if you can't figure this out, you look for jobs, well, there aren't that many jobs. So jobs will be created by job creators, and we are going to see this gig world, and that's where this is important. So this is the first skill. The second skill is that most of the people in the next generation will make more money than their parents, by definition, by and large. If that is the case, they need to know how to manage their money. And the reality is that unlike our generation and our parents' generation, where we got paid at the end of the month, the gig worker doesn't get paid every month. The gig worker gets paid when the gig is completed. So they'll get pots of money every so often. And if they don't figure out how to manage their money, then they might make the wrong choices, right? So this is very important. So how to manage money is the second most important skill. The third and the most important skill, which is what this is, when your gig ends, you have to find the next gig. So unless you are trained to understand how to sell your next gig, you wouldn't know how to get the next gig. So anyone who wants to survive in the gig world must know how to get his next gig or her next gig. And getting that next gig is part of the sales process. So this is a skill that is not going to be AI-fied that easily. Tools will get AI-fied, but the skill to acquire the next gig has to come from you, because if you don't do that, then you won't have the next day. So the sales skills are, in my opinion, one of the 3 most fundamental skills that every student should be taught. Because unless you acquire these 3 skills, the future, you will not succeed, right? So you need to know how to convert the mindset, manage money, and then sell. So these are the 3 most important skills. So I'm really delighted that JK has, I was calling him Rengan, I realized today that he should be JK. I didn't realize. You should have corrected it in my forward that I didn't know. But all the same, JK, it's a real honor to be here. It's good to meet your friends and family. They seem to love you and they seem to be quite excited about you, and it's a lot of your friends have lots of stories about you. Perhaps another time that could be a different book in itself, but this is a brilliant book. Thanks for writing it, and I would recommend it to my friends and other people as well. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, JK, for that.
Thank you, Dr. Deshpande. That was really inspiring and very generous.
Yeah, I think one of the things I have noticed tonight through all of these conversations is how many people in this room have spent their lives building companies. But what's equally remarkable is how many have spent their lives helping others build theirs.
Amazing. So after hearing all of these stories and perspectives, I think we're all getting a glimpse of something we've known for a long time. Appa's impact has never really been measured by deals closed or businesses built. It's been measured by the people whose lives he's touched along the way. And now we'd like to invite the man of the hour back to the stage. Appa, please come over and share your closing thoughts.
So, unlike my usual self, I'm a bit emotional now. So, it's been a long journey, and I see so many faces here who have helped me build this journey, and I'm really thankful to all, and I want to mention that. First of all, thank you for being here. When I look around the room tonight, so many people who have helped me in this journey in so many ways, big and small, friends, family, colleagues, mentors. Your presence here tonight means everything to me, and I want to take a few minutes to tell you about the journey of this book. So for a long time, I had this idea in my mind to write on sales. I don't know why I had this idea in mind, but it was just sitting there for many years, I would say. I always thought about myself as writing a book at some point in my life, but when that a vague idea started getting shape, it turned out to be like I wanted to write something on sales, because that was what I knew best and that's what my experience was. But even then it was still vague. So what to write on sales, really, that was the point. Somehow in 2025 January, I opened my mind and said, okay, let's start doing it. And that was the time when I started, okay, let's start putting some things together, and writing something. From that point to today, it seems so surreal. I mean, I really can't believe it that I finished a book and it's out there now. Because after finishing 25 pages, I had the writer's block, and nobody would believe me that writer's block in 25 pages. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, you didn't write anything in 25 pages. But that was the truth. I said, I might have written everything, and what is there more to write? And I was like questioning myself, do you have it in you to write something? Because it's only 25 pages and you're already exhausted. There's a blank sheet in your mind now. Do you really have something to write? Or it's just like some kind of a joke in your mind? So, I was just thinking on that. And, as we always do in our family, I'm very thankful to my family, actually, my wife, my children, Vani, extraordinary, they are part of my family. I discuss everything with them. So I discussed this with my son. My son Kshitij came up and said, Papa, do one thing. Start journaling what you do. I mean, you normally doing now coaching, mentoring. Start journaling all these activities. And once you start journaling, you'll structure your thoughts. And once you structure your thoughts, then it becomes easier to write. And that from that point on, I started structuring my thoughts and went back again to writing. And yes, then the flow started. Then I got into the zone. As Bani explained, I had Himesh Reshamia on one side, and every day I would in the same place. I was very convinced that if you have to do something like this, it has to be a discipline. I mean, I'm thankful to myself. I started working from home in 2007 when it was not really fashionable. 2005 rather. So, I used to hide to people that I'm working from home. Now it's like kind of in thing. So, the discipline came from there. I mean, I built that discipline over years. I mean, working from home when you're not supposed to react to home situations while you're on a call. So all that discipline came from there. My children were young, and I used to tell them that there's one phone in the office that you shouldn't touch. Any call there, even if it goes unanswered, there's an answering machine there, but you shouldn't touch that, never take the call. There were a lot of rules, but many rules were broken. My younger son was the, rule breaker. So that discipline started from that day on. And of course, I went through the book, and now I could, correlate. Now I could build the chapters. Now I could get everything. Suddenly I had a brainwave. My book, I would say there are 3 major milestones. The first milestone is this brainwave that I had. Why not do podcasts? Like I'm saying something in sales. Now, the first thing is whether people will listen to what I'm saying, yes or no. I mean, there was a doubt in my mind. And the second is, why not have founders and entrepreneurs talk on sales and, kind of have that kind of validation and credence to what I'm saying. And the first go-to person for me was Sandeep Chintawar. I mean, I heard his story, but, I'm not subscribing to that story. But apart from all the jokes, the thing I liked about Sandeep was immediately the moment I told him that we do a podcast, and I was kind of not experienced in doing podcasts at all thus far. And I said, why don't we do podcasts? I was hearing this all along the place. Hey, podcast is the in thing now, you should do it and all. I said, Sandeep, let's do a podcast. He immediately said yes. He didn't even realize anything, or he didn't even think about anything. He was in Amritsar or something, I believe, in a vacation. And he said, yes, let's do it. And 2 days or 3 days from there, he came to Pune all along, and we did a podcast. And as he said, we did a very scripted podcast. We never had an experience of doing a podcast. And it was so scripted that questions were there, answers were there, and he had to speak on the script. Then I realized that it can't be possible to, just like I have a script today and I am not talking on the script. So it can't be possible to talk on a script. So he said, let's talk extempore. So that was the real genesis of the podcast, talking extempore. That really became the genesis. I slowly started realizing that I'm good at extracting, thanks Kaustubh for recognizing that, I'm good at extracting information from people without they feeling, annoyed or anything. I mean, I'm good at doing that. It's a skill which I've learned over time. Of course, sales helps. And that journey continued. So my first milestone was Sandeep Chintawar. I really thank him for coming all the way, being part of this journey, and he's been done immensely in this book. So I really want to thank him. That's the first milestone. Come to the second milestone, Atul Vadegaonkar, also a Roorkee batchmate and a close friend, a coach and mentor. There was a different kind of generosity. He said, well, I would want to read whatever you're up to, all those, 50, 60 pages that I'd written. So he started reading that. What he did was he put on the shoes of the reader. So if I'm an entrepreneur, if I'm a startup founder, if I'm a middle-level sales manager, what would I want in the book? And that was immense contribution. Every time he would come and say, JK, this is the expectation from the reader. This is not yet satisfied. With these pages, this is not yet satisfied. So I went on. And these inspirations, these stories that came from the reader was so important for me, because you need that kind of perspective of the reader. You can't write a book, or like, for example, you make a product which is, you don't know whether it will sell or not. Is similar. You write a book, you don't know whether it will ring the right kind of bell with people, resonate with people. Then that doesn't make sense. That was the second kind of milestone, and I thank Atul a lot for that. A lot of efforts, and he has this big hand for him. He has this ability to scan through pages in such, I mean, he's a PhD. I think he's doing a lot of mentoring work and a lot of reading, a lot of thesis and all that. He scans and reads so fast. So he was very quick in giving me his responses, and that was wonderful. That was the second milestone. Now, while I was going to the podcast journey, I had always this fear inside me. Okay, I can talk to my network, I can talk to my people, I can talk to my friends, but do I have it in me to talk to somebody who is a kind of a celebrity businessman like person? So I never thought, I didn't have the courage to do that also. It was in my mind, okay, why don't I bring more successful people and real people in the podcast? And I never crossed that chasm. Then came my third friend, Mr. Anand Deshpande, who have been known, same environment, University of Roorkee. In one chat, we discussed Anand Deshpande, and soon after he introduced Anand to me, and that really changed the whole course of the book, as Sandeep mentioned. My interview with Anand was really amazing, and lot of direct talk and lot of experiences and lot of Anand has built this wonderful company for so many years, and all those words came like pearls of wisdom to me, and it really was a great thing to interview Anand, and I was really so happy doing that. And from that point on, things started changing, and that took a different direction. Then, of course, Anand introduced me to Ashok Korwar and Ram. And in the meanwhile, my family also suggested to me that why don't you have a kind of, rather than a one-on-one interview, also have a panel discussion kind of thing. And we started the first panel discussion then. And we had a wonderful discussion. I met Ram and I met Ashok. And both of them said, why don't we talk the book? I said, wonderful. So they chose topics, or I gave them topics from the book, the sales playbook, the account management, customer relationships, and they spoke really so wonderfully and brought more wisdom to whatever was already there. And this is something that I have brought into the excerpts in the book, and I really want everybody to know that. Then the journey was to, how do I not talk of AI and complete my book. That was not possible. So AI is out there and something has to be said on that. So I brought in Udit Agarwal and back Sandeep and said, why don't we talk about, is AI a disruptor or a game changer for sales and marketing? And we had a lovely talk there. And again, extempore, and we were like bouncing ideas. And at the end we said, it's basically an enabler. I mean, you have to use it as an enabler. When there's a new technology, embrace it. Don't try to fight it or don't try to avoid it. Embrace it and use it as an enabler. So that was wonderful there. After all this comes the role of my family. I mean, my family didn't just support me. They really built the book along with me. So my wife, Jayashree, she is a very out-of-the-box thinker. She thinks a lot. She's always thinking and brings such out-of-the-box ideas. And since 1992, every first idea I have really said, no, Jayashree, this will not work. And then eventually I come to, so that's how it happens. And all those tips and all those little things she has contributed, and her belief in me was more than what I believed in me, I would say. Then comes my children. Of course, as I said, Kshitij was the one who told me how to write and how to structure your thoughts. Bani came and said, Appa, if you just write sales techniques and methodology, it's not going to be very interesting reading. I mean, if you want people to read at a stretch, you need to write something, some anecdotes, some your own experience. Start putting your own experience, your own anecdotes in every chapter as far as possible. So I said, brilliant idea, why not? So then I started writing the anecdotes. And with all this, the content started building. So that's where I thought, oh, now the book is taking shape. Then comes my younger son, Shashwat Jayakrishnan. He said to me, Appa, why don't you make it a workbook style? I mean, try it out. Have a try it out section. So it's not just sales concepts and methods. You must give them way to, try it out and make it more practical. It has to be a workbook. It has to be practical. People have to use it. So eventually it's not just one read. You just keep it there. Whenever you have a problem in sales, go to the book and say, which chapter do I read now? So that's the way it has to be. So that was wonderful. I said, oh wow, that's wonderful. So let's do it that way. So I incorporated that. And he said, Appa, I think the name of the book should be Sales Algorithm. I got shocked. I said, algorithm? What is that? So he said, no, just name it the Sales Algorithm. That's it. Algorithm is basically a kind of step of structured ways to get to an outcome. So you are giving a structure, you are giving a definition to sales. So why not name it Sales Algorithm? So the name started there. The brand started building from there. So honestly speaking, if it would be very wrong to say that it is my book. So the book belongs to everybody. So this book belongs equally to Kshitij, who told me to journal, belongs to Bani, who told me to add my stories and anecdotes, belongs to Shashwat, who gave it its soul, its workbook character, its name and cover design, belongs to Jayashri, who never stopped believing and never stopped contributing, belongs to Sandeep, who said yes to my first podcast without hesitation, belongs to Atul, who read every word as a reader and gave me insights for chapters that were missing from a reader's perspective, belongs to Mac, who made an introduction that changed everything, belongs to Anand, whose insights are woven into these pages and who provided credence and validation to my ideas, belongs to Ashok and Ram, whose insights clearly brought out why the topics covered in the book are so important, belongs to Kshitij, Kaustubh, Sunil, Udit, and every founder and entrepreneur who sat across from me and shared their journey with honesty and generosity. They gave me the stories unfiltered, and these stories are now yours. A final word, sales is the lifeblood of every business. Every startup that struggles does so because no one figured out how to sell it. Every middle-level manager who plateaus does so not because of a lack of talent, but because no one gave them the system, the framework and the guideline to move to the next level. So the book exists to change that. It is for the founder who is brilliant at building and deeply uncomfortable with selling. It is for the sales manager who is ready to stop being good and start being great. It is for every ambitious professional who eventually learns through this book that sales is a discipline, a process, a repeatable, learnable, scalable algorithm. I sincerely hope that this book finds its way into the right hands at the right moment, and that when it does, it gives the person the clarity, the confidence, and the framework to go out and build something extraordinary. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being part of this journey. My biggest fan is Anand Deshpande, so I will take his permission.
Thank you, Appa. That even if a fraction of these stories you've accumulated over the years is captured in the book, we are all in for something very special.
And on a personal note, thank you for showing us what lifelong learning looks like. Many people would consider writing a book the culmination of a career, but somehow you decided that it was the next chapter.
Yeah, which is both inspiring but slightly exhausting for the rest of us.
Now, before we conclude, there is one person that we absolutely cannot leave out. People often say that behind every successful man is a strong woman. I think in this case, the reality is that behind every successful man is an extraordinary woman. Because behind every chapter of this book, behind every career move that Appa made, behind every bold idea, and probably behind every meal that fueled the writing process has been Amma, the quiet force that has held everything together, the person who celebrated the victories, weathered the challenges, provided the reality checks, and supported Appa through every chapter of life. And let's be honest, many great ideas have come from Appa, but many of them survived because Amma made sure that everyone was fed. So this book may have one author's name on the cover, but the journey belongs to both of them. And so, Amma, this evening belongs to you. Please join us on stage.
ऑन करना है ठीक है गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन actually I am not used to talking like this on a mic in the public in front of a big crowd. I'm actually you can say I'm a director, as they were saying. I'm not a front stage actor. So this is the first time I'm here. Yeah. So they sometimes they get crazy because I drive them like anything. And today Shashwat was telling me, now you feel that nervousness when you're talking, how you were driving us. So I'm not capable of talking extempore. So I have penned down my thoughts on JK's book journey. So I'll share some of it by reading it now. Actually, JK was continuously having an urge to achieve something great in his life from the beginning. In fact, when we were newly married, he was dreaming of receiving a Nobel Prize once in his lifetime. So, I don't know whether he still has this dream. So, yeah, still dreaming. Yeah, maybe. And in 2024, we had been to the US to stay with Shashwat for 2 months. There, he had a book titled Designing Your Life by 2 of the Stanford professors. It's an excellent book, actually. JK got inspired with that book. That book is not meant for reading, it is for working along with that book. So JK got too inspired about that book, and so Shashwat gifted him one. JK got deeply involved in that book, and his passion for writing a book book on sales originated from there. He started writing his book from January 2025, New Year and New Beginnings. Every day he would sit sincerely start writing from 9 in the morning after his morning routines and will go on till late at night. By morning routine, I mean 40 minutes of gym and an hour of swimming and 10 to 15 minutes of puja every day, which I used to do along with him except the puja. But you won't believe us doing gym and swimming, but that's truth. At first, he used AI to write, but Kshitij and Bani told him to write on his own words. So he restarted again. During the course of his writing, he had an idea of doing podcasts with startup founders to get more insights and contents for his book, and did few podcasts as well. We both had plenty of brainstorming sessions on how to proceed further and reach out to the outside world. Kshitij, Bani and Shashwat played a major role with their millennial and Gen Z inputs. So JK started posting short snippets of his podcasts as Instagram Reels. In December, when he got exhausted of these snippets, he made Instagram Reels on sales tips and started sharing. When it comes to passion, JK has lots of patience. He has set a goal. If he has set a goal, he would go full throttle to achieve it. No stopping him and no looking back. All these were going very smoothly till July. I would like to say, like, JK is a man of high integrity. I'm not saying that because he is my husband. Many people who are present here might be aware that JK is a brutally honest, straightforward and a direct guy. Few people dislike this nature of his. In the 34 years of our marriage, we have undergone several financial roller coasters. But last year was especially very turbulent in our personal lives, challenging us emotionally and mentally. Some of them present here are witness to this. This affected him a lot in the beginning, and he started drifting from his goal. But thanks to his Vipassana and Brahmavidya sessions, which he had done few years back, he could regain his path. Every day he would meditate for an hour in the morning or whenever he was drained emotionally and mentally. Year 2025 was one of the best years of his life and the worst too, both running in parallel. His biggest plus point is He keeps joking and always looks happy to others. His problems are shared only within the family. And now he is here in all your presence, proudly launching his book, keeping aside everything else. Now, in this moment, I don't shy away from taking pride of being a part of this beautiful journey. I have enjoyed supporting you in all your endeavors all these years and will be doing so in future too. And a very hearty congratulations to you. Congratulations.
Yeah, we now have proof that behind every successful author is someone making sure that he remembers to eat, sleep, and occasionally step away from his laptop. Thank you so much, Amma, for that. Now, before everyone heads for dinner, we would just like to thank each and every one of you for being here. Your presence means a great deal to our family. I want to mention that author-signed copies of the sales algorithm are available this evening. If you have already purchased a copy, we would love for you to get it signed. And if you haven't, then tonight is the perfect opportunity. We promise that Appa is significantly more accessible tonight than he will be after he becomes a best-selling author. We also have photographers and videographers with us tonight. So while not everyone has had an opportunity to speak on stage, we would love to capture as many memories and stories as possible. So if you're approached for a short interview, we would be grateful if you could share any memory, any story, or just like simply just your reflections on Appa's journey. And that's something that, will be a memory that will stay with us for life. So please take photographs, reconnect with your old friends, enjoy the food, and help us to celebrate this milestone. A big round of applause for Appa. Now, while we can head towards dinner and the dinner will start getting served, I have a little surprise now at the end. I want to mention that not everyone who wanted to celebrate Appa tonight could be physically present today. But as you will see, distance has done very little to stop people from sharing their love, their stories, and their admiration. So Appa, as we all proceed for dinner, this one is for you. Let's direct our attention to the screen.
Good evening, friends. I am Parvati Ravindran. I am Jayakrishnan's sister. I am from Bombay. Today is a very special day for our whole family, and I feel very proud to stand here as my brother celebrates the launch of his book. He is the very first published author in our family. This book is not only an achievement for him, but also a dream come true, a reality, a milestone achieved. We all know how much effort he has put into for this day. My brother is a very self-made person. He's very ambitious, and his patience and perseverance has paid off today. He's a very open-minded person, and when he thought of writing this book, he's very close to all. We 4 siblings. We always have a group call. And when he thought of writing this book, he told us on a call that I am thinking of writing this book. I want to do it in such a way it will go out. We didn't know anything about the topic or what he is, but we always been a source of encouragement for him. Because he is always, like he says, Jayeshri, he is also out of the box thinking. When everybody has a way of working, he used to always have it differently. Since so many ages he is working work from home. Always we should tell him that you don't require a new dress at all because you are always at home only. But that became the way of living now. After COVID, it has become. But he has never set back his goals or whatever he has in mind, always.
I have more shirts than pants, actually.
So when he told us about that he is planning to write a book, so we used to always encourage him because we don't know about your topic, but sure you will do well in this. And I used to see his podcasts and feel very proud that about his command of language and with the confidence which he is conducting the podcasts. I should not understand the subject. I am a banker, I should not understand him. But the way, with the confidence with which he was conducting was, as he says, I was so scared of a podcast. Today, when I'm here, this speech, I thought of it when I was coming. But today, when I'm here, I see so many people and so much inspiration. As you say, anybody and everybody can write a book. But to see, will it reach all hearts? He has put so many things in before it launches itself to see that everything is done proper. I'm very, very proud of him, very proud of him. My mother was a very, very close friend of my brother. So every business talk or all, when he was working also, he used to discuss with her as though she is a friend. And she used to acknowledge everything what he talks. And today she would have been the proudest person on earth if she was here to see. Always she was proud of whatever he does. And my brother is an all-rounder. He is a good cook, he is a singer, he is a writer, he is a speaker and whatnot. And to top it all, he is a very, very good person and individual. My parents, from wherever they are, would be beaming with joy and blessings today and always. May the book reach many hearts, inspire many minds, and be the first of many more success to come. Thank you very much. My cousin, Papu ke do cholna.
But I'm very proud of Ambi. Heartiest congratulations on having become an published author. God bless you abundantly. Today is the day when an incredible dream of yours comes to reality.
My elder sister.
I can't even imagine how much effort you must have put in to achieve this. But I'm very proud of this milestone in your life. Another feather in your cap. May your book reach thousands of readers and may they all benefit from all the knowledge and experience that you have shared in it. May you get all the success you deserve. Wherever Amma and Appa are today, I am sure they will be beaming with pride and pouring their blessings on you. Congratulations once again. Love you, Ambi.
Hi, Ambi. I'm so incredibly proud of you as you launch your first book, Sales Algorithm, today. You are officially the first author in our family and we are all proud of you. I'm sure Mom and Dad, wherever they are, will be so proud of you and showering all their blessings on you on this special day. It's truly your patience, your passion, your experience, your hard work and dreams which are all stitched together to make this book. It's just the beginning of something very big. I wish and pray to the Almighty that your book becomes the bestseller. And may God shower His blessings on you in all your future endeavors. I wish I could be there to give you a tight hug. Love you, Ambi.
Hi, Mama. You have just proven that age is just a number when it comes to passion. And it's such an amazing feeling to see you being the first member in the family to publish the book. Keep it up. So proud of you.
Hey, Ambi. Congratulations on the publication of your book. Awesome job, man. I also enjoy your podcasts. Well done. All the best.
Hi, JK.
It's great to see you distill 30 years of accumulated sales wisdom into a practice oriented playbook for landing complex B2B deals. I'm sure it'll be an indispensable part of every sales professional's arsenal. Wishing you all the very best.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shashwat here. I just wanted to say a few words about this journey and how it's been over the last, 1.5 years, 2 years. I remember having a call with Appa sometime in 2024 when he mentioned that he wanted to do something new, reinvent his work in sales, or perhaps explore a midlife career transition. He also briefly considered a course at Stanford for people at this very point in life. At the core of it all, I think there was something to do with being more purposeful. I remember at the time telling him that in these times, in this world, the one thing that will, help him put things out there or like make people listen to his wisdom is like he has to build his own brand. He has to create content on social media, right? And that's what that was my 2 cents basically. But I have to be honest, when I told all of that back then, I didn't realize that we would be here in just under 2 years, where he has his own experience rich podcast that he runs, where he speaks with amazing people and shares their wisdom to everybody. And some of them are with you today. Along with a very adorable and sincere repository of his daily shots and reels that he puts, almost like clockwork, on WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Instagram. And of course, not to forget his endless collection of floral t-shirts and fancy shirts that really steal the show. And finally, his first published book, The Sales Algorithm. What a ride this has been, truly. Beginning on this journey of reinventing, what he puts out there, the work that he puts out there, exactly the year that he turned 60, and going from never having actively used something like Instagram to being extremely comfortable with posting, editing, sharing, and promoting his content daily on these platforms. It's been anything but easy. And that's just one part of it, right? I mean, often it was all a team effort. I wouldn't deny that. But none of this would have happened had he not believed so passionately in himself and his dream. So much so that it was almost contagious, I would say, and roped all of us in to not just dream this dream with him, but also to build it. These last few months and weeks, leading up to this very launch, I think I've had several moments of reflection. I'll just finish basically with saying these couple of things that surfaced for me from these reflections. 3 qualities, especially about Appa, that I find pretty much synonymous with who he is. And I'm truly inspired by these things. One, he's has a radical openness to ideas, opinions, information, and opportunities. 2, he has an undeterred discipline to put in the work that is required, even if it's so incrementally so, but day in and day out. 3, he has a gracious amount of humility, knowing when to take lead, when to seek help, and when to tap into his best resources. This book, The Sales Algorithm, and everything that it comes with, right? And everything that is yet to come, is built on this very foundation. These 3 things, I feel. The Sales Algorithm is Appa's wisdom and hands-on experience gathered over 3 decades of working in sales, delivered as an action-oriented playbook for anyone in the business of selling. Thank you all for being here to support him today, and congratulations, Appa. We are super proud of you.
Hi Chittappa, many congratulations on your book launch.
Congratulations, Chittappa. Waiting to read your book. All the best. May you have loads of launches like this further. Can't wait to get your autograph on that soon. Cheers.
Cheers.
Good evening. Congratulations, Jayakrishnan Anna, on becoming the author of Sales Algorithm. It's a moment of pride. It's a moment to cherish, honor, wishes from all our cousins group and everyone in the Circulatur family. This book is a great tool, simple, powerful tool for any business and sales. Happy reading and happy selling, and wish you all the very best.
Hello Jayakrishnan brother, we are wishing you on your book launching day. Have a very successful book launching day, and as well as let this book will be the eye opener and gives new dimension to a lot of startups and entrepreneurs. God bless your writings.
Congratulations, Anna.
Congratulations, Jayakrishnan. Successful on your book launching.
Morning Ambi, morning Jayashree. Hearty congratulations on the release of your book, The Sales Algorithm. We're really proud of you. Congratulations to you on the behalf of all the cousins and the Sargalatu family. Let this be a new beginning for you, Ambi, and a new foray for you to launch into. I'm sure this will go great places. Really proud of you, Ambi. You are this generation's author after Dr. R. Parsarthi, our beloved Atimir. Congratulations again. I've brought my own copy. I'll read it at some point in time. A finance guy to learn something on sales. Thank you so much and best wishes the way forward. Thank you.
Hi Mama, congratulations on your book launch. We are really very happy. Many more to come. We are beaming with pride. First one to do in our family, and we really look up to you. Say hi. All the best.
All the best.
Congratulations, Ambi, on your first book launch. Wow, a great achievement. Incredible. So proud of you. Hats off.
I wish him all the best, and I will ask him to write more books in future also. Good luck.
Hello Mama.
Congratulations Mama on your book launch.
A matter of great pride that you are able to share your experience with everyone using this book. We are very sure that this is going to help everyone who reads it, and all the very best to you. We are sorry that we couldn't attend this. We wish you all the very best. Thank you.
All the best Mama.
Congratulations Mama, Tata. All the best.
ஹலோ அம்பி அண்ணா, குட் மார்னிங். நாளைக்கு உங்களோட புக் லான்ச் இருக்குது அப்படின்னு ஜெயஸ்ரீமணி நேற்றுக்கு நைட் மெசேஜ் பண்ணியிருந்தேன். என்னோட பெஸ்ட் விஷஸ் உங்களுக்கு. இதே மாதிரி நீங்கள் நிறைய புக்ஸ் ஃப்யூச்சரில் எழுதணும், நிறைய புக் நீங்கள் லான்ச் பண்ணணும், எல்லோரும் அதை படிக்கணும். ஸோ மை பெஸ்ட் விஷஸ். வில் மீட் அப் சூன். தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச்.
Hi JK, fondly called Ambi by all of us. Good morning. Papu from Chennai, your cousin. Hearty, and many more times, hearty congratulations to you on this wonderful event. You are now an author. We knew that you are an entrepreneur. We also knew that you are a melodious singer. Now your book is breaking into print. Wonderful, Ambi. Best wishes to you. And as Dr. Deshpande has certified, your book contains nuggets of practical wisdom written with great perspicacity on sales. I certainly am going to read this book, Algorithm on Sales. Best wishes to you for blitzkrieg success of sales. Okay? Bye. Lots of love to you. You've done the family and your team members great proud. Okay? Bye. Lots of love.
Hi Ambi, congratulations. So proud of you. May God grant you many more such success in future.
Hi. Congratulations Jayakrishnan on your book launch. Wishing the book launch function a grand success. Your hard work and dedication has paid off, and wish your book reaches readers and inspire many. Proud of you and excited to see your book achieve great heights. All the very best to you for the future. Thank you.
Congrats, JK. All the best on your book launch.
Congratulations, Jayakrishnan. May the book bring you success.
Right there. Just one of my cousin from Chennai, Lakshmi. Many congratulations to you on your book, The Sales Algorithm. Congratulations as well to Jayashri, Kshitij, Bani and Shashwat. Very proud of you, brother. Wishing you many more successes and many more books to your credit. I will surely share my reviews on the book soon. Your Behna, Papu alias Lakshmi. Thank you.
अर्जुन इज माय अंकल वो हमारे मामा जी हैं ना उनका भाई है थैंक यू फॉर जॉइनिंग अपने எடுத்துடலாம்
एक ऑटो ड्राइवर को नोबेल प्राइज
जैकेट पहना That is the secret behind the jacket.